teďka teda si, okay, tak English, so let's find the link and edit the topic on the IRC here, and we will do a short recap of everything because it's already the 5th session, and I just want to remind things like the ideal environment and things like IPython, because for example it's not really recommended, and for me, in my personal experience, I just learned about it 2 years ago, and if I had known it about 6 years ago, it would help me. It would help me a lot. Tak, tebe nevidím, tak snad to. No, tak počkej takhle, abych vám asi viděl trošku. Tak. Okay. So we just let's edit the link. This is my personal YouTube stuff, so you all saw it. Nice. There's lots of stuff I have to cut out from the yeah. So this is the previous educations, and I want to this. So, and I think I have a no. This is work. This is work. Okay. Topic. Okay. Yeah. So it's just for editing the topic. So yeah, copy the URL and Python for beginners 5th live now, previous session here, and that's it. So let's edit the topic. So that's this. Let's ping the people. No, he's not here. We can start now or watch later. Arch Linux Classroom Edu Live. Okay, so anybody who didn't join can watch it later. So let's just do the recap. So we are on Arch Linux, and it should be pretty similar on any other distribution. So you normally have Python. I mean, you normally have Python 3 in your distributions. In Arch Linux, Python is linking directly to Python. I will show it like this, because user bin Python links to Python 3, because normally Python 2 is launched like this, or in other distributions Python links to Python 2, which is correct according to the PEP, one of the PEPs, which is the standards for the Python. I'm not sure which one, but since let's show this, and actually let's make let's use this. Now let's make new window. So there is Python countdown. No, not this. Python 2 countdown. So pythonclock.org, and in 1 year, 5 months, 4 days, 11 hours, and 51 minutes, and 0 seconds, Python 2 will not be maintained. So that means that it will still exist. The programs built on this will still work, but if there will be perhaps some security issue, nobody will fix it. Only, I mean, the Python Foundation will not fix it. Only some fans might, but I wouldn't recommend that, because there is Python 3 since December of 2008, and by now we have Python 3.7. We still don't have on Arch. Still don't have the latest version, but yeah, there's lots of Python stuff on. Anyway, let's just do the update quickly. That's not related. Yeah, wrong password. So yeah, still no new Python, just new kernel. Anyways, my point was getting back to this. So we have Python, and in most of the distributions, I'm not sure, you probably do something like dnf search IPython, which doesn't work here. So I will do search in Arch Linux, So IPython is Enhanced Interactive Python, and it's very close to the Jupyter Notebook, which you will use. So Jupyter Notebook is this thing, and that is sort of like a sharing of nodes for many languages. So we can see Python, Lua, JS, PHP, C#. I'm not sure what this is. Many languages, and it's usually great for sharing some visualizations or pictures and stuff. And it's used by many companies. You can see NASA, IBM, already ATC, and it's free, and it's pretty great. I still have it open in one of the windows over here. Too many windows, sorry. Yeah, let's just do, I think I have it here. So it creates, when you launch it like this, Jupyter Notebook, it will create you a localhost server, HTTP server, and this token is here. It's not important for you. You can just, there is a guide on the Rational Classroom, this page and this GitHub. So there is like a way how to get it running on Arch Linux, the IPython. So there is same way, just install Jupyter and run Jupyter Notebook. I still haven't shown, I mean, I wanted to do it with syntax highlighting like here, but normal way you would create a virtual env, any name, pip install Jupyter, pip install, well, you don't need to do requirements like I have here, but you can install it like this via pip, and it should be also available in Fedora. It should be available as a normal package, I think. Fedora Jupyter Notebook, but that's just for your own stuff and for running these notebooks, because once you upload it to GitHub, it's in this format IPNB, and it shows you something like this. Someone highlighted me. Oh, okay. And actually in the raw format it looks like this. So it's a JSON. No, yeah, I think it's a sort of like JSON, and it shows the cell type and what happened there. So that's how it works. So that's how it shares, how you can share it, and you see it's very small, and you can just load it in your IPython notebook and relaunch the cells to get the same output. Of course, you have to have libraries installed and everything, but that's just for later. So, anyways, no here. So you can install it like this if it's not, especially on Windows. So I already have it installed. If I would create my virtual environment like this, test X, and yeah, activated it, and no, when I do pip freeze there is nothing here. So pip install, I can do the whole Jupyter, so which will install the IPython as well. And I recommend using IPython. It's well, it depends on what you want to do. You can either use something like PyCharm. Oops, yeah. So I removed Java, so it will not work. So PyCharm is a big IDE, and it's pretty good, and it's free for the community edition. But it's written in Java, and I don't like Java too much. So I mean, it's okay for this, but I removed something and it stopped working. I mean, I can just install it, it's okay. Yeah. So community, I can just to show, because you can also use something like Vim Jedi, which is wrong password. So let's install it. So there is something like Python Jedi, and actually I'm not sure how that works. I think no. Well, it's sort of auto completes and helps you writing with Vim, but that's there is a great video for that. Vim Python IDE. Yeah, this video. So there is guy and talking like whole 30 minutes about
and see what
how you can
Control K for going up.
So that's
involves, or if you have a vertical split, you can press Control.
That involves a lot of editing with Vim RC, and that might not be ideal for. So let's just yeah, he can follow the definitions, and yeah, maybe we can just enable subtitles.
Yeah.
Maybe just let's go back and show.
Colon W. All this is probably.
Well, anyways, I will just link this video, and you can.
From scratch. Don't take a fully blown Vim file from.
Anyways, let's just show the PyCharm.
So there's so much stuff inside, you will get lost.
And for today, we will.
Whenever you feel that, oh, I want to do this, how can I do this? Just Google for it, go to the Vim IRC channel. There are super many, super smart people inside, and they are extremely helpful. Whenever I ask a question, I get an answer within 2 minutes. Vimbits.com is a pretty cool website where it's like Hacker News. People can post their snippets, and people can upvote and downvote it. So it's like.
So there are many videos on YouTube from PyCons.
What's bubbling on top, and you usually can find lots of crazy ideas you would never think of.
This is perfect. Very good lecture from Raymond Hettinger, which is one of the Python core developers. And this is Beyond PEP8, so
Raymond Hettinger.
Just to maybe it's written here. So there are lots of people who come to Python from Java or something, and we can perhaps show it here in the resolution. Yep. So this is sort of like Java way, and this is like Python way. So this is the same program, sort of. I'm not sure if it's finished yet, but it's like a big difference how you can write with Python and Java with the idea. And because lots of people think that PEP8 is just 79 lines and that's it, and there cannot be like any line with 81 lines, and so they just force it. And this lecture is about that you have to think more than just simple rules, and just think how the whole program works. So, for example, I'm not sure what it exactly does. It's something like a routing table, but there are some classes, and in here he can just use instead of like routing table enter, exit, and ATC, he just use these 3 lines with a network element as this. For every route in the routing table, print, there is some formatting, route name and route IP address. I haven't, I'm not sure if it's, I mean, you get the idea. This, these many lines can be in few lines, and I just recommend watching the whole lecture. You can just find any Raymond Hettinger, any lecture he has about modern dictionaries, about super in classes, and concurrency. Very great, very good lecture about multi-threading, cores, what's the difference, what's the current status, etc. And are just on the PyCon, you can just look here, because we have PyCon CZ. There are many other PyCons all over the world, and you can just find many topics about all the stuff that interests you. Beautiful graphs, open source for newcomers, etc. Myths about Python, YAML, Ansible, learning from others' mistakes, data-driven analysis. Yeah, just many hours. Nobody can watch it all, because it's just whatever interests you, because it's just too wide. But it's not It's not sold, it's just free on the internet. So yeah, I installed IPython here. So in the virtual environment, IPython works like this. So to show the main difference, yeah, so in the virtual environment it created in the bin folder all these executables. So you know, when you install it normally it goes to user lib, but in the virtual environment it's in the bin folder. So just to show normal difference, in latest Python, something like this. Oops, no, it doesn't work. Damn it, it worked before. That's weird. Well, the idea is that you have, for example, import the OS module, and you want to look what all methods and functions it has. So you already see that it does some highlighting in IPython, and you will also see the in, and you will see output like here. And the idea is that you do os dot and hit tabulator tab, and then you can do all these on all the stuff that the OS library has. And what's great, you can ask what is OS. So this is like simple help. So you see there is some docstring which is on the beginning of the file, and you can do two questions mark to see this exact docstring and the whole source. So the source is in our virtual environment, and you can just have a look on the whole OS module. So you see it's pretty big. Well, yeah, it's like you know, it's not like Vim. It's like less or more the program. So you can search by slash. So for example, I will search for some class. How many classes there? Many classes, class methods. It's a very advanced library. Well, there are not so many classes. But yeah, I mean, you don't usually need to read OS library. But for example, when I have a library like request, which is third-party library, so you can also do like R and there is no request. Yeah, because it links to the. Well, let's just install it. Pip install requests, which is sane HTTP working for Python. So request, now it's here. And so for third-party libraries, you usually want to have a look how it's written, because you might not be sure that is exactly what you want. So you see that it uses urllib3, some warnings, etc. There is some some version controlling, and many other, well, not so many stuff, because it's just the main file and it links to the other files, because it's just an init file, and you can see the file here. So if we go there, we can go even in IPython like this. So it acts as a normal shell. So now print working directory is links here, and ls works, ls all list all, and human readable works as well. So we can just investigate the library like here, just via IPython. IPython also supports many magic functions. So that's the percentage, and you can see there is many functions you can use. Actually, we can just Google it. So IPython magic functions. It's really called magic commands or magic functions. And I said that the Jupyter supports many other languages. So there is like alias magic, autocall, automagic, bookmark. I usually use something like save. So when I write stuff in the IPython and I want to save the results, I use like save, the file name, and the cell names. So any questions for the IPython? Is it? I really recommend it, because my normal workflow is that I have there's 6 is free. So I have I have like 2 terminals. Python testx, and I can have something like yeah, let's create something simple, 1py, and so I can write stuff here. It already, I wrote py, so Vim knows that I want to have Python markup, Python syntax. So I can write stuff here, but what I usually like to do, let's say we, for example, want to print current time. So I don't recall it from top of my head, so I just try it in the IPython. So I record it's daytime now, and that prints it here. And I can just so that's very simple. But let's say I want to use let's save it to a variable. So that's very interesting to notice that for example in cell 8 here we have in 8 and there is no output, and in cell 9 we run daytime now and it outputted here. So when we want to save it, we will save it like to the variable now. There is no output because the output is saved to the variable now. Yeah. So now is this daytime, and if we would wrote it directly in the code, it would be already hard to do. There's of course many. Oh, there's still no. Okay, the PyCharm will not work. Never mind. Well, in PyCharm it will just you know, help you same as IPython does, that it would for example do like now, and you would do dot and see all its functions. And yeah, my point is that in the Vim itself it would not show you all these functions. Perhaps a plugin would, like the Python Jedi, but I'm not sure. Anyways, the IPython works all macOS, Windows, everywhere. So it's just universal. And let's say that in this case I want to print the stringify the time, yeah, which is this function. Yeah. So that's stringify the time, and yeah, when I just do it, it requires some arguments. So I know that that it requires specific string, and we can actually use it. It's a stringify time Python. Yeah, actually I have it here. setterOfTime.org. And that's a helper for these for the stringify time. All these yeah, we can see the documentation. That's always great to have a look. And it's like the directive, and let's just see the example. That's best to just, no, there is no example. Maybe in the, because this is Python 2. Oh, come on, where is home? You can have a look on 3.7, and perhaps there is some example. No example. Never mind. The point is that we will just do this. So we will print %year, and that will print the year. So I want to print it like yeah, dot, then month, that works, day, and then do space, then do hour, minute, and second. So I recall this because I did it recently. So the now time is looks like this. Come on. And yeah, that's it. And if you know, if I would have to write it in here in the program, I would have to save the program, launch it. So I can do it like this. So let's just do it. So import. Well, one way how to do this is well, let's just switch to the current folder. there are a couple of ways how to transfer the stuff we wrote to the file. So simplest way is just to use %hist, which will print this, and we can just copy it, and paste. So I can do it like this, but I want to do it better. Oops. I want to save the file to the simple1.py. So I use save simple1.py, and I want to save cell. Well, I just want to save all the cells. So from 0 to 20. So you saw it did this, and there is this get IPython run line magic. So that's the magic stuff which happens. So now we have to reload the file, and it's everything here. And it's also coding UTF-8, so it's useful when you use some special characters. So I just remove all the stuff I don't need, and that's this. And yep, I can just print the stringify time, save it, and I can run it here. Yeah. So if I would have to test it each time, in the program, it would be cumbersome. So I can just do it in IPython. So that's my way of coding. So that's 30 minutes or so. How long? That's already 26 minutes of the IPython magic, and that's good enough. So any questions? Because I asked you some questions, and then I started talking again, so now it's your time. So for today we had some where is it? Not here. So we had some projects in mind. So previously I promised that we will do simple program in. So since you're on Fedora, let's do something that will be the same. So in Fedora there is some folder which has like many logs. Let's just use etc. That's everywhere, because in ls etc you have all these configs and whatnot. So previously I wanted to do, because in Arch Linux we have all the downloaded packages in here, and that's all the packages I've ever installed and all their versions. So we can do that later. For now we can do just list all the files in /etc, and for example, so we can see there are lots of conf files. So if we do it like the bash style, so find ename conf, there are many files with conf, and we can do some stuff with them, those files, because working with files, it can get pretty tricky. And yeah, that can be a good example. So let's create, we already have created this, let's name it somehow. So that's session 5, and let's just write it here, listing files in etc. So I will just write it here because that's okay. So for listing files, we definitely want to use OS library. So we just import it, and there is, for example, a list dir, so we can try it like this: list dir /etc, and that will list all the files in the current folder. Yeah, all the files and all the directories, and you can see it's just a list with strings. Because if we ask what it does, it just requires path, and it, as I said, return a list containing of the names of the files in the directory. Yeah, path can be specified as string or bytes, etc. But that's not what we want to do. We want to use oswalk. And oswalk is a directory tree generator. And so for each directory in the directory tree, rooted at top, including top itself, but excluding dot and two dots, which is the current directory and the top directory, I mean the on top of it, like if you go back from the folder, yields a tree tuple. So it's their path, their names, and file names. So if we just do for I in oswalk /etc and print I and oops, it's a string, and more importantly, I don't want to list all the files existing because it goes recursively through the directory. I want to just print the first, so I will just do input, which will just print the first and ask me for confirmation to print the other. Well, that didn't work. Well, what I wanted to show that well, this is crazy. Ooh, okay, so this is like this starts a tuple, so that's the top folder etc. Then there are all the directories. Where is it? Maybe we can see it here. Yeah. So that's all the directories, their names, and then there are the file names, which is this. So that's not the ideal way how to do it, because it's a tuple, so we can unpack it nicely to their path, their names, and file names. So let's do that. I can just copy this. So as you can see in the help below, their path is a string, the path to the directory. Their names is a list of the names of the subdirectories in their path, excluding dot and two dots, as we saw. File name is again a list of the names of the non-directory files in their path. Note that the names in the list are just names with no path components. That's very important, because then we will have to use like ospath join and expand and etc. That can get pretty tricky, as we see. Yeah, ospath join, their path, and name. That's when we want to actually work with the files, which we may will. And oswalk also supports the top-down, on error. So what to do on error, and symlinks. We will not go through that because maybe I think there are some symlinks in the etc. Yeah, there's definitely some symlinks from systemd. And the certificates. Jesus, so many certificates. Yeah, so we will see what it will do. For now, we are just concerning about the conf files. So let's do what I said. Yeah, and what top-down does. When top-down is true, the caller can modify the names list in place via their assignment, and walk will only recurse into the subdirectories whose names and remains in their names. Oh, I don't get this. Anyways, let's just don't use. I don't recall what it does, and for now it doesn't concern us. We can definitely Google it and find on Stack Overflow or some example when it's important. But for now, let's just use this. So we have now their path, their names, and file names. So we said we are concerning for the files in all directories. So because now, yeah, I will just show it. If I will just print, let's say I want to list all the files ending with .conf. So if I just do if file, well, let's just do it the proper way. directly, because as we saw, the dir path is just one, which is the ATC, and then dir names and file names are files. So we will do for file in file names. Well, let's just do for file name in file names. If file name ends with, I would use tab completion to fill the string function ends with, but since the file name is not defined yet, it doesn't work. So there are many ways how to, well, we can use regex, but it's just better to, and a more readable way to just use ends with. So we just do this. So if file name ends with .conf, we will print the file name. Yeah? And let's do the input again to show it one by one. So when we run it, it doesn't work. So I did something wrong. Well, so let's just do else. Name. When I'm not sure, I'm not sure. So what it does? Let's just do live coding. That happens. Yeah, it doesn't work. That's weird. It should work somehow. So what happens? So when something like this happens, I can just use it in do this. So that works here. So what's wrong here? Let's perhaps just stop the kernel, because the kernel runs here, and probably since I ran it for a long time, now it works. So that's just something that happened in the IPython. So that happens. So now let's get back, and even more back. Yeah. So now it works. So I can just enter and print each file name. Yeah. But this is just the file names in the top directory, and the way we can see that is that we can print the well, there is the help here, dir path. Yeah. So let's just print os path join dir path file name like this, and it doesn't work again. Damn it. So let's stop it. And again. Oh yeah, dir path is not defined. I wrote dirt path. It's dir path. Okay. So now we can see that it's actually, as I said, in the the ATC, and I said we want to do for each directory. So let's just delete this input to print all the files. Okay, this is getting me. I will just try it in IPython here, and when it's done, I will just copy it to the Jupyter. Yeah. Oh, so it works. So I was wrong. So it prints all the files ending with .conf, even in subdirectories. Because I was thinking we would have to do for their name in their names. So that's kind of like, I don't really like this, because we have 3 fors already, and you know, there are many steps when it does this, and we can show that. Yeah. So one of the perfect things to investigate the code is Python tutor. And it's called Python tutor because it's helps people overcome fundamental barrier to learning programming, understanding what happens as the computer runs each line of code. So yeah, that's one of the points. But another point is that you can visualize your code and get live help. So when you have some issue, you can just you know, write the code, and perhaps this will not work because we actually run the code on their machine and they perhaps not allow the they don't have OS module. That's too bad. Never mind. That's too bad. Okay. Anyways, I will show it on some another example when we have maybe we can do something like this. That will be some trick. So I can just, it's very important to see what goes behind. For OS in OSWalk. Yeah, I will do list comprehension, so I will just do some magic stuff. Yeah, so this printed all the files, so we can use it even without the OS module, just to show what happens. Yeah, so this is one of the examples when it's really big output, and for me to copy all this, that would be tricky. So this is cell 5, so I'm in the main folder. So let's just do clear, and I will save the output OSWalk this and 5. Yeah. No. Okay. 5, 6. Yes. Damn it. Okay. So also in IPython, each input gets saved in these variables underscore and input, and I just want to save the output of. Okay. Which variable is it? I just want to save this output of this line. Come on, it's just too big. It's no, still. So it's that's input 5 and just the 5. So just the 5. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know how to save it, so I will just write it the normal way. So OSWalk with write. You don't have to do this. This is just really crazy stuff. I mean, not too crazy, but it's interesting. But it's not important for this lecture. IREP and IREP write 5 underscore 5. Yeah, it's a list. So Jesus. Okay, so for it's actually tuple. So come on. Maybe it will not be exactly what I want, but maybe we will see what it will do. Maybe it would be easier to just copy paste it in the end. Right line. Not a tuple. Okay, so we can just do the stuff here. So we know that the underscore 5 is output of OSWalk, so we can just use the same logic, and we have to pack it again. Let's not do this. Let's just do this. This is I haven't done this such things, so it's easier to just do this. Perhaps the output will be too big for the live coding, but I really want to show the multiple fors, how many steps there are. Yeah, it's pretty big. many files in /etc. Yeah, here it is. So it's a list of tuples. So no import OS, no OS walk. Data. Yeah, 1,000 lines. Well, more. That's not important. That's the limitation of the Python tutor. So yeah, data, and now it should work. Hopefully. No, it's too long. David. Okay, so Python tutor doesn't work with me in this case. Sorry for this. I haven't tried this, but we will show another example with many fors. So let's just get back to this. Yeah. So we are printing their name, which doesn't make sense. Yeah, I mean it makes sense because yeah. Well, you get it. Well, this is very nasty because it prints all the. This is not ideal. Let's just do what we did before. For file names in, and yeah, this will work because what I did I print all the file names for each directory, which is not great. Let's just use Python OS walk example, and yeah. So I collapsed the theirs in 2 fors, and it's better to do it. To just split it to different blocks. So because in this case we just care about the file names and not the directories, because their path changes as the OS walk goes through the folder. So it's just perfect for us what we want to do. Yeah, so let's actually comment on this. We can make it as a function. So list all files, and we will do in folder filter. Yeah. So filter is a if you do this, filter is a keyword. Returns iterator yielding those items of a iterable for which function item. And in this case, I just want to use it as a variable, and in function it doesn't matter. I will not override the filter function. So I will list all files in folder. So instead of etc, I will use in folder, and filter will be the .conf. Yeah, and then I want to return the output. So I could do list comprehensions, but that would be too nasty. I just want to have a list of all the files. So I will do result, and I will not do print. I will just do result append the output of this. And in the end, when the for ends, I will return the result. Yes. So now let's just try the function list all files /etc .conf, and it works same as before. And the advantage of having as a function, we can just do, you know, no conf files in my home folder, but for example there might be something like .py. Yeah, definitely. No, that doesn't work now. Okay, what's wrong? Maybe this. That's weird. Perhaps it broke again. Yeah, it broke again. Yo, okay. So this is very tricky. Example. Sometimes it just breaks, or I have something with my system probably runs too long. It should work. There shouldn't be any issue with the code. Yeah, it does something. Yeah, so that works. There are many PY files in the, yeah, because in my home folder there are many PY files. I have many virtual environments and stuff, so that's why it doesn't work. Yeah, it worked in the end. So you might see that the limitation of the Jupyter Notebook, it sometimes for heavy operations like these file operations, even with SSD, it really takes some time and you can overload it. So, but we still will just care for the ATC files. Conf files in. I will really make the variable verbose. I don't recommend doing such verbosity, but for the purpose of this lecture, we will do the maximum verbosity. So, short break. So it's already how much? For now, it's just we list all the files, and yeah, let's just do it and let's see the result. So that's not too many files. How much? Yeah, 212. And we will do something with the files later after the break, because now it's lunchtime in Czech Republic. So that's how many? Yeah, that's just over an hour. So we will do another hour after the lunch. So stopping streaming now, and this session 5 will be split into 2.